Alors, bonsoir tout le monde. Bienvenue à cette
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regular public meeting. Where are we now? We're not in April in any case, in March. April will come quickly enough. This meeting for March 13. The only thing we're lucky in is that it's not a Friday, so a Friday 13. The city recognizes, the city of Dieppe recognizes that the land on which it operates is part of the unceded traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship that the Mi'kmaq co-developed and signed with the British Crown in the 18th century. The treaties did not deal with the surrender of lands or resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between the parties. So welcome to you all for this meeting on March 13. And just a few quick announcements. First of all, with regard to MADA, the movement. Oh, sorry, I've lost my place. The Seniors Association. The Seniors Association of New Brunswick. So we are proud to announce that our statute of community friends with seniors has been renewed by the Department of Social Development. This designation is evidence that the municipality has preserved its undertaking towards the well-being of its elderly residents. This movement of friendship communities allows seniors to live in safe and healthy places where they can fully contribute to society. And the committee is very active, I must say. There are 8 members of this committee who are working very hard to improve the situation of seniors in our community. Not that they have a bad situation, but they want to continue to promote the services that are provided to them and potentially improve the level of services for our seniors. I also want to talk to you about Francophonie. Many activities are provided for in the coming weeks to celebrate Francophonie in Dieppe. First of all, the program 2460 on the information network of Radio-Canada will be broadcast from Dieppe City Hall this Friday on the 27th of March. We will be dealing with the issues at stake for Francophones throughout the country under the theme, Let's Celebrate Francophonie. Oh, that's my next announcement. Sorry. I would like to thank Councillor Turgeon Roy, who will represent the municipality during this broadcast program on Francophonie. So thank you very much. Your Worship, it's March 17. You talked about the 27th. I just want people to know that is this coming Friday, March 17. Right, this Friday. I guess I was thinking of the 27th, which is another date in my agenda for another topic. Under the theme, Let's Celebrate Francophonie, the colorful program will be celebrated in our community from March 20th to 31st. The city of Dieppe is proud to have been chosen by the province of New Brunswick to host festivities for 2023 for International Francophonie Day with a reception which will be organized and held on March 20th. These activities will continue until March 31st, and the support of our community, which will offer many activities and events which will allow us to celebrate and showcase La Francophonie and the city of Dieppe. You're all invited to attend in great number and to look at to our website for the various details about the celebrations that are upcoming. Now, for the opening word, dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Having said all of this, let's call this meeting to order. Confirmation of quorum by the clerk. I see that you're all here this evening. Welcome to all of you. Between illness and various other professional obligations, it's been a while since we've seen all your faces around the table, so we're happy to see you all. Conflict of interest. Have we received any conflicts of interest? Nothing at all? Adoption of the agenda, moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Brideau, that we accept the agenda as distributed. On the question, no question. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Against, nay. The agenda is adopted as presented. This brings us to item 7, presentations, inquiries, and petitions. And the number 1 issue under item 7 are inquiries by council members and also information by the Kodiak Regional RCMP. And this evening, we welcome Superintendent Benoit Jolet, who is here on an interim basis for the main person for the area. Welcome. It's been a while since we've welcomed you here. So welcome to you. Oh, I'm told your mic is on. Good evening. Thank you, Your Worship, members of council, employees, and all the members of the public who are here. The last time we met was back in December, I think. I came to do a presentation that we are going to do every time there's a new council. We don't want you to lose your seats, but if there are any new members incoming, we do this update because we continue to grow. There will be changes in the coming years. Ms. Vera is in training in Fredericton this week, and so she called me just before coming, and she gave me some last few details that she wanted to share with you. But I like the way we do things. So we do a summary of the main points of what's happening in our area. And if there are any questions, please don't be shy to ask. So let me go through the various units and the other items that I'd like to raise. I'm disturbed by what's happening in our community, but I'm very happy with the results that we have been coming up with. The first is the community policing effort. Our officers continue to be very busy in promoting visibility in those problem areas, which includes the 3 municipalities. And if you may have seen the bicycles. We took the bicycles out yesterday because it was such a nice day, and we're going to try once again to train others. There will be 2 training periods, one in May and one in October. The purpose of this training is for every patrol team to have 5 to 6 officers who so today there are a certain number, it's nice. So we send them out. That's what we did yesterday. We went throughout all the areas that we could ride in to be visible. So on a bicycle, we can move in and out of various places and find people who are doing things. And also, there are so many great biking trails. We did this last year. 2 officers who bicycled up to 150 kilometers a day. So they really pedaled. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But that's what I was told. I don't remember the figure. I was told the distance, and it was incredible. The next team is the crime reduction unit, and these are officers who are in unmarked vehicles, not in uniform. So they were very busy recently and doing work. So on March 1st of this year, this team intercepted a vehicle in Dieppe that was showing that looked suspicious. Once the vehicle had been stopped, they discovered the vehicle was stolen. They had plates from another stolen. After the stop, we seized a quantity of drugs. So they were going throughout Dieppe to looking to sell the products they had in the car. During that seizure, we also put our hands that there were amphetamines and cocaine and quantities of what is believed to be crystal methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl. And the same team in March executed a search and seizure. It happened in Moncton, but I'll talk to you about what happened in the three communities because you have to understand that what's happening here and there, we're all involved in the same issues, and the people from here are going to be buying things over there and vice versa. I'm mentioning this because it was a great seizure. We're talking about ounces of methamphetamines, and there were pieces as big as this, and there was cocaine, and many pentyls, and uh, and these are firearms that you don't buy at Cabela's or Canadian Tire. So all this information that we have, one of the counselors came to see me at the beginning of the meeting to talk to me about a specific area, and that's what we're going to do. We want this information. We do the investigation, and if necessary, we go. And if there's nothing, well, then we move on to the next thing. So the integrated team for to combat drugs. These two officers are provincial officers for safety, public safety, and two members of the RCMP. And this was a gift that fell from the heavens to us. These four officers have been working for a month now, and this is all they're doing. So in the last few years, I didn't really have a team that I could assign to this drug issue. Now I have a team, and in addition to that, this team, they're going to be working together. So I'm very anxious to be able to share results with you, or Consul Farah will be sharing results with you in the future. The next team is General Investigation and Major Crimes Unit. They continue to work on more complex issues, and right now we are trying to staff within this unit because there were people who were leaving. They were planned departures. They were being sent to other provinces or sent to other sections. So we're replacing our staff members to have the right people in the right spot and to prepare ourselves for the busier period that's coming up. And a very important fact, as I said earlier, I'm worried about this, and it worries parents at home. But I'm very pleased with the results of this because undertook. We did some media about this on March 2nd. There were two men and a woman. The three came from Ivory Coast, and they were arrested in Moncton uh, for online exploitation that was targeting young people and young adults. After that, there were two searches in Moncton. We also seized many electronic items, and we also believe that we have stopped maybe not a big network, however, a network that was targeting our residents with sextortion, who are really targeting younger people who are a little more innocent. And so we're very pleased with the results of this investigation. And also, we had great results and good comments about the presentations that we did at the Polyvalente here, the school, and those are things we're going to continue to do. I'm announcing this to those of you who wish it. If there's a group or a school that would like this kind of presentation, what can we do to protect ourselves? We have our officers in the community policing unit who are excellent and
Et enfin,
can do these kinds of presentations. And finally, the patrol continues to be busy, maybe less occupied or busy rather than in the summer, but we're preparing for, uh, at the end of August, there's another big event in Dieppe. We had the first meeting, I think it was this week, to prepare for that. It was a great success last year, and people had fun. And in fact, this is what we want with, for the organizers, and the city of Dieppe will be organizing events and concerts so people can have fun. And we do this all in a very safe way. So as you have heard, there are lots of major events that are being advertised or announced almost every week. So we have shown that we can do this, based on our experiences last year. So we'll continue to do that. Thank you very much. Questions by members of council. Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. This is not a question, but I just want to say that if somebody complained in the past because we didn't have much visibility by our officers, well, that's not the case anymore. I see it, and I see this regularly, at least in my neighborhood. So I want to thank you, and please continue your good work. That's rare. It's a rare compliment you're getting from me. But let me add this. If we don't know that there are problems, I've said this previously to council. If we don't know where the problem is, clearly we're going to be stumbling over problems. We're out patrolling every day. But if there is a specific case, a vehicle, for example, that we know of, or a street that is a problem, please share that information with us. Thank you. Any further comments or questions? None? If that's the case, you're getting away easy. Thank you very much for your being here and for your presentation. And I think we all know and understand the efforts that you are putting forward and the positive results that we are getting on a gradual basis. So continue to protect us and to protect our young people and our families. Thank you once again. And as always, you are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but we certainly understand that duty might call. Questions by members of the public? Were any questions received? Nothing at all? Okay, the next item is 9, adoption of minutes. So regular meeting held on February 27th, 2023, moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Boudreau. On the question. Seeing no questions, all those in favor will say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. The minutes of the meeting of February 27, 2023 have been adopted. Item 10, motions, memorandums, and nominations. 10.1, engineering, Mr. Melanson. Thank you and good evening, Your Worship and Council. For the first item this evening, you have a recommendation to retain the service of Englobe Corp. It's a consulting firm in the amount of $70,000 for the project entitled Trails, Melanson, and Fox Creek Roads. The city had requested some funding under Infrastructure Canada, which was looking at active transportation. We were approved for a project for 2024. We have to prepare and finalize the plans and the drawings. So this will complete the Fox Creek and Melanson roads trails to allow us to get the Rotary Park in Saint-Anselme, and also to the future site of the pickleball arenas. So we'll be doing the design in 2023 and the construction will happen in 2024. So this is our recommendation for Englobe Corp. Thank you. To read the resolution, Councillor Lantagne. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council authorized Englobe Corp to undertake the engineering services for the project entitled Trails, Melanson, and Fox Creek Roads at the cost of $70,000 plus HST, and further authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3-3-35-58-7672, General Capital Budget, Trails, Melanson, and Fox Creek Roads. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Lantagne, seconded by Councillor Gaudet on the question. No questions? All those in favor will say aye. Against, nay. The resolution is passed. This brings us to 10.1.2. Once again, under operations, expropriation. Once again, Your Worship, last year at the end of the summer, we came to Council in September 2022 to request a directive to proceed with a notice of expropriation. For several years, we have been attempting to acquire a parcel of land to complete the culvert replacement along Keith Road. We have not yet been successful, so this is the last step to finalize the expropriation for this land. We have tried to come to an agreement with the owner. However, we've had no success. So today, we are asking for you to allow us to complete this process and to begin the process of undertaking this with Sophie Casey-Cormier. Thank you. To read the resolution, Councillor LeBouthillier. Thank you, Your Worship. Be it resolved that the City of Dieppe, having received and considered the report of the Expropriations Advisory Officer, Ms. Sophie Casey-Cormier, dated November 30th, 2022, confirm its notice of intention to expropriate, and that a notice of expropriation be issued with respect to the lands described in the notice filed on September 29, 2022, in the Land Titles Office, New Brunswick, as number 43158071. I so move. Moved by Councillor LeBouthillier, seconded by Councillor Turgeon-Roy on the question. On the question, Councillor Godbout. Thank you, Your Worship. The documentation that was shared with us, I note that in the internal consultations, there were no consultations with communications or any communications needed in the short and long term. I'm making a comment and a suggestion. Expropriation powers are an extraordinary power to use. It's a last resort. That's right. It's a last resort. And as a last resort, I think it's important for us to be very conscientious about the communications surrounding this, because we're taking this measure. There should be some view of how this should be communicated. It's an extraordinary power. It's important for residents to be confident that we have undertaken these steps. It's clear. It's clear for you. It's clear for me in the documentations I've read, but it's not always clear for the public. And I think that there should be a viewpoint of the communications service in the future. Thank you. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. If I've properly understood you, this culvert is on Boiseau. It's close to this other road. And I just want to make sure that the work is properly done, because last year people got flooded after a big rainstorm, and with climate change, this is going to be the last big rain we ever get. So I want to ensure that the irrigation problem be properly undertaken so that there are no issues in the future. Yes, clearly, Your Worship and Councillor Thibodeau, this is part of the culvert replacement project, and so these factors are all taken into consideration with regard to plans, and the person responsible for the project has given a sign of the head to say that yes, this is the case. Thank you. If there are no further questions, all those in favor of this resolution will signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Carried as read. Item 11, nothing. Bylaws, notices of motion. There's another one, 10.2.1, to complete the agenda. Oh, pardon me. Right. How did I miss that land purchase on Amiro Street? Right. So further to process, involving the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Moncton. The city of Dieppe, through the council, has received the directive to propose to purchase this land. This is the land in front of the Saint Anselm Church, an important part for our trail system and for the public. The directive was to procure this piece of land, and a part of the process, we've retained in our directive, and we're making public the purchase of this land for $600,000, the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Moncton, and to a maximum amount of $1,500 related to these expenditures. So this acquisition of land is very important for our trail system. Thank you. To read the resolution, Councillor Godbout. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council authorized the purchase of land identified under PIDs 1033604 and 821058 and located on Amaro Street from the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Moncton at the cost of $650,000 plus HST, plus legal fees and disbursements related to said transaction up to a maximum amount of $1,500, and further authorize these expenditures be defrayed from account number 3-3-35-58-7602, General Capital Budget Land Purchase. I so move, Your Worship. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Godbout, seconded by Councillor Rideau. On the question. No questions? All those in favor of the resolution will signify by saying aye. Against, nay. The resolution is carried as presented. Thanks to all the team who have worked so hard to resolve this very important purchase for the municipality. Now, municipal bylaws. We haven't had any that have appeared in the last 5 minutes. Notices of motion? None either. Let's go now to inquiries and announcements by members of council. And I think that we should be beginning with Mr. Gaudet.
De la rue Pierre, les citoyens sur la Wilfred sont inquiets pour la coupe d'arbres et s'il y a eu un effort.
The citizens are wondering if there's been any efforts made with the developer to try and save trees to improve the drainage, or could we get a drainage plan for the buildings on the site? Yes, council had already authorized the level of densification along Dieppe Boulevard. This is close to the new school and the fire hall on Dieppe Boulevard. So just so you know exactly where I'm talking about. We haven't received any requests for building permits for that development yet, but as soon as we get one, they will need a drainage plan to make sure that the surface water runs not negatively, but it will be improved. So whatever development is planned on that site, there has to be a drainage plan presented. Now, in terms of all of the other questions and the trees and the development, I'm looking at Ms. Spencer, or Remy perhaps has some details. No, currently we don't know very much. We discussed it somewhat, but in April we will be developing a policy to encompass tree management and the and natural settings in development projects. So we are sharing the information with the developer. We're guiding them in that direction, but we have no powers at this point. Now, do you have anything to add, Angèle or Remy? Well, I know that it hasn't been done yet, but it will be shortly. So it's just try and encourage the developer to save trees if they can. Yeah, we are sharing that information, and I can also tell you that the developers are aware of what council's intentions are, and they know full well that trees are very important in all future development of the city. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor LeBouthillier. Well, I'd like to begin this evening by congratulating all of the team in operations. We had the Dieppe Ringuette tournament with 91 teams, of which 97 percent or 95% were from out of town. So that's a major economic benefit. It took a lot of volunteers, and I asked people how everything went, and everybody said it was just great. That everybody had a great tournament, and you know that everybody knows this, but they'd like to congratulate the team for the cleanliness, but also for the facilities at the Uniplex. It's really wonderful, and people feel very lucky to have that kind of infrastructure. And for Ringuette, again, I don't know if you're aware, but I said as you know, but you might not know, but we will be having the Eastern Canadian Championships will be held here in Dieppe at the end of April. And next year, we will be hosting the Canadian Championship for all of Canada. So if anybody wants to volunteer or participate, I do want to thank you all because it does take a number of volunteers to make sure that an event like this goes forward. Everybody has to work extra hard. I'd also like to congratulate all of our athletes from Dieppe who participated in the Canada Games. We had one medal. It would be nice to receive our medalists here if we have the opportunity, as a matter of fact, but I'd like to congratulate all of our athletes. And I talked to the CAO already, but at the Uniflex, I don't know if it would be possible to consider having a change, a machine to give change. People would like to see that. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you. Thank you. I had the opportunity to go to the Uniplex on the weekend, and yes, it was a moving place. And you could feel that people were really eager for hosting the Canadian Championship in 2025. So thank you. And thank you to all the volunteers. But speaking of volunteers, do we have a bank of volunteers? Do we have something, or are we considering setting up and maintaining a bank for people who are interested, who would like to show their interest? And I'm just throwing this out there like a hot balloon, but just something to think about. Let's move on. I don't expect an answer right away. Thank you. It's been noted. Thank you. When we're told it's been noted, it means it doesn't exist yet. Councillor Boudreau. Oh, it does exist. Yes. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. So I have a couple of questions. I hadn't asked any questions for a few weeks now. So my first question comes from the neighborhood cleaning committee from 88 Sunset Street. They had cleaned, there was a team that cleaned the neighborhood last year to clean up all of the waste and debris in the neighborhood, and they're planning the same type of activity for Earth Day this year. I think there's already been communication about this, but do you have any information you could share on how it will work this year? Will there be coordination between the different neighborhoods or throughout the city, or will there be central areas to leave our bags of garbage at the end of the activity? And will the city be providing the bags? And when can we go pick them up? Angèle, Monsieur Dujon, ça va? Ms. Spencer has turned on her light, so yeah. Great, thank you. That's a great question. Great first question for me. Yes, I talked to the woman who's responsible for that, and we will be sharing public information no later than April 1st. Meanwhile, we can say that yes, we will be providing the material and both at the home hardware and another location, there will be information available locally to direct people to the right neighborhood, yes, and to help them. Thank you. Is that the only activity being scheduled for Earth Day, or is there anything else? We're planning on distributing tree seedlings, and first come, first served, of course. We have a couple of hundred trees that are available. Thank you. Can we share the date? Yes, April 22nd, it's Earth Day. And my second question on the hydroponic room, the greenhouse in the Uniplex, has work progressed in there? If I understand correctly, there's a manual that has been prepared so people can learn how to use the greenhouse. But have we approached any groups or organizations recently to make sure that the room is being used? I mean, it's something to be proud of in the Uniplex. And we know that we have a lot of gardeners here in the city, so it'd be great to find a way to bring people in. Have we made progress in that sense? Yes, thank you for the question. We're preparing to hire a coordinator for the greenhouse. We've launched a competition, so that should be announced in April sometime. We hope to have somebody in position by early May to be ready for the season. No, that's all my questions. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. I'm happy to hear that we are going to be organizing teams this year because Melissa, Councillor, when you mentioned last year I worked with a team at Horizon Place and I had a great team of seniors and they took over cleaning the Paul Street. And I also participated myself behind the Irving station where there was all sorts of debris and waste. So I would have thought a team would have come to join me, but in the end, I was alone there to pick up the garbage. But it's a great experience, and I really encourage people to take part. And elsewhere in the city, there are groups of seniors that organize themselves on different days, and they did the same thing. They got together, and if I understand correctly, that they had quite a job. So that's all I had for this evening, Your Worship. Thank you. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. I have nothing for this evening. Thank you. Councillor Turgeon-Roy. Me neither. Nothing this evening. Have a great week. Thank you, Councillor Godbout. I have nothing either. Things come in threes. Councillor Lantaigne. Thank you. I had nothing, but seeing as it's come down the line here, I just had a question on the pickleball fields. I know that they're working on the plans right now, but I'd like to know where they're at because what I heard is that the shovels should be in the ground by the spring. Can somebody give us an update on that at all? Mr. Richard? Yes? Yes, I just came out of a meeting this morning with the people responsible for the pickleball. And yes, so we're preparing a meeting with the representatives of pickleball teams. We have regular communication with them, and we're still in discussions with them to discuss the actual needs based on the budget available. So we are still planning on putting shovels in the ground by spring, and open up the fields by this year. Will the designs be shared with council? You don't need our approval. No, we're still at the preliminary stages. We need to see the actual needs as identified by the pickleball representatives. There were certain things that were essential, other things that were just, on the wish list, but not essential. So we received all of the information and the budget, and we're continuing to work with them. to see what is more important, what is most important, what will be included in the budget, and we'll come up with a project that'll be the pride of Dieppe, I'm sure. Well, I'd like to see what it's going to look like. I'd like to see the conceptual plan, even if it's preliminary. Well, we just received it Friday ourselves. Yeah, yeah. So if when we can, I'd love to see it, what it's going to look like. So that's all for me. Thank you, and have a great evening. Thank you. And I have nothing either, so have a great evening, everybody. I thought I had forgotten something, but no, it seems not. So have a great evening, everyone. See you next time.